And this one is a good one because it's Robert Brazile, who just is a few weeks away from being inducted into Canton, Ohio.
38 days.
38 days as we're talking right now. That is cool. I grew up watching this man play linebacker for the Oilers for all those years. And just tell me what your reaction was. What do you remember from that day that you got the call?
Well, it was a relief and a lot of tears. When you play the game like I did, and you've been away from the game as many years that I've been, and you saw so many guys go in, and you're just sitting there waiting for your turn. You never know what that feeling's going to be like until it hits you. When the Senior Hall of Fame committee called me back in August, I think for the first 15, 20 minutes, I looked across my living room at my wife and another friend that we had named her sister-in-law, and I just cried. I was just that happy that it had happened. And to know that what was to come after that, and to think about all the people that shared this with me, all the people that's going to share with me, all of my teammates, both them that's living and those that's passed away, have had so much to do with this. So it's been an awesome, great feeling. You have to be in these shoes that I got in to really feel what I feel.
John McClain said you were kind of a mess. It was tough to get a quote from you as soon as you heard the news.
It was very hard for him to get a quote because I cried like a baby. It was so many people I wanted to be there for that, but I think that my wife and myself was there by ourselves, and we just cried and hugged each other. And she was so proud of me.
Have you been to Canton before?
Yes, I've been to Canton twice. Back in '85, the Houston Oilers went to Canton, and that was the last year that I played, the last game that I played in.
Played in the Hall of Fame game.
In the Hall of Fame game. And in the recent visit, I had to go out there for some orientations and some prep work for the big weekend that's coming up in August. Other than that, no.
So you didn't even go out there to see when Elvin got in or Curley got in?
No, I did not. At that time, I was trying to raise 6 kids.
Yeah.
And to get to Canton, people don't understand, it's not just a drop in the bucket. It's very, very expensive to try to take yourself and 6 kids to Canton. And the only way I want to go to Canton is to take my family with me.
Is there a player or two that you're thinking, I can't wait to meet this guy? I can't wait. I'm sure you want to meet all of them, but is there a guy or two you know that's going to be there that, I grew up maybe rooting for, or somebody that you haven't seen in a long time?
Yes,
that you
it is.
With?
It's part of my induction speech. I can't let that name out because I want to surprise that guy. But growing up as a kid, I did some things that everybody around me thought was funny, but it was very serious to me because I analyzed a couple of guys back during the time when I was a kid. So in my in my speech, I would tell everybody who that person is and give him his kudos during that time.
Is the speech done? Are you finished with it yet?
The speech's been done. I've been practicing and exercising and changing and practicing and some more. I got a ritual that I do every morning. I get up between 3:30 every morning. I prepare myself with a cup of coffee. Then I go to the Y, and I walk around in the pool, and I'm talking to the walls and the water and one lifeguard. He probably think I'm crazy because I'm rehearsing my speech, and he knows it. So I tell him to put his earphones on so he can't hear me.
I think I didn't ask you this the last time I talked to you. Dr. Doom was your nickname. Where did that come about?
The name Dr. Doom started back in my senior year in college. I was chosen to play in the college all-star game. Back then, they don't have it now, but when I came out of college, the college all-stars, they selected two teams of college all-stars to play the Super Bowl champions. And I was there along with some more guys, and one of the guys that chose the name for me, his name was Richard Woods. Richard Wood played linebacker for SC, went on to play for Tampa Bay. But we was having breakfast one morning, had breakfast numerous morning during the course of the week that we was practicing, and he walked up to me with the Chicago Tribune. In the Chicago Tribune, it's a character named Dr. Doom. And he said, man, that fits you just like that. And he never understood what it meant. Howard Cosell which was having breakfast all by himself, said, "That's right, Richard. That name do fit him. Take that Doom part. Break it down. Depth on offensive men. Who else does it better than Robert Brazile?" And it went from there.
Oh, that's great. That's great. One of the guys that you competed with in college, you got to know, is Walter Payton. Are you going to go? Is that something you wanted to go do when you're up in Canton to see?
I've done it. On my visit, that was when I had Ray Lewis and Randy Moss and their wives and the people that was with them. I wanted to go see Walter because it's been a long time coming for me to see his and to just feel what he felt at that moment when I stared at his bust. I knew that we was like in heaven with each other, and I owe him so much for what he's done and has done for the game, but primarily for me and my family. Walter is the goddaddy of my son, Trey. And they grew up, he grew up knowing Walter. And for Walter to not, when we saw Jarrett and Walter on that stage, Trey was too young to understand. I was thinking, one day that's going to be me and you. Well, but since some things come about, it's me and my dad. Trey's going to be with me all the time, which is with me tonight. But due to the circumstances of what happened in my father's life, I felt like at 86 years old, he would be the one to present me. So Trey would understand that. He's very understanding. He's been my kid. I know he's got to understand it.
Well, this is it. This is maybe the last Houston Oiler that gets in the Hall of Fame. You might be it.
I don't think so. I think two guys that's very deserving. One is our coach. Baum deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. And we got another guy that set the program. He was a game changer. He was a person, and he was so versatile in what he's done as a wide receiver and a kick return, Billy White Shoes Johnson. I really believe he's supposed to be in there. And I'm going to do whatever I can to help him get there. I think Billy deserves and Baum deserve. And it's going to be some more Titans/Oilers going in somewhere. It's a lot of great guys that played on that team with the Titans also, because I'm going in as an Oiler Titan, so I got to get the Tennessee Titan. They do too.
All right, one guy that we mentioned earlier, Curley Culp, one of your teammates, got in the Hall of Fame. Can you give me a Curley Culp story?
Curley have always been the unsung leader. I never saw a guy prepare himself and as fast as he was. I always thought I was fast. But I think Curley was the fastest man on the Houston Oilers team for 5 yards. And I mean that for 5 yards. He could outrun the whole Houston Oilers team because nobody get off the ball as quick as Curley Culp because that's what he scribed at. The funny story is that I love him. And I think he's always been like a big brother to me, man.
What about Elvin Bethea? I'm sure you're going to be talking about him. I don't want to go in on your speech, but I'm sure
it's not a speech because the speech is going to be done in August. They're going to be talking about me, and I'm got my son here. So if anything gets a little out of squeak, I'm gonna have Trey stand up and go stand by that guy and tell him to sit down. But Elvin, when you play against a guy like Elvin, you got to understand the vibes. I can feel his blood running through me. I could cover for him, and he could cover for me. We just knew each other that well. We know what we could do to a team. If someone was trying to block one of us, they was in trouble. They had to always concentrate what the two of us was going to do. Either I was going to be coming or dropping back, or I was going to swap places with Elvin. And then Elvin had side bets half the time. Who was going to catch the running back on the other side of the field?
What was it like to be in that atmosphere? And I've asked you about this before, but it can't be said enough. What a great atmosphere it was for the fans, the Love You Blue fans. What do you remember just running out of the tunnel and you hear that Oiler fight song coming at you and the fans going crazy? Let me just take you maybe to that Dolphins game, the Monday nighter. What was that like? Do you remember just the emotion there?
But what people have realized when I first got here, it was a team up north of here called America's Team, the Dallas Cowboys. And we had lost a lot of fans out of Houston to Dallas. So we as a team, I knew this and my teammates felt it also, we had to get our fans back. We had to turn our show up to another level. The only way we could do that is to win. We ran as a group. Baum told us, just go out and have fun. We had fun, man. And that Monday night game, when, it was like, I think Howard Cosell says, it's like a carnival atmosphere at a football game because it was so many people enjoying the festivities that was going on around the game and in the game.
The Steelers, what was it like to go up against a team with that much talent on the other side?
I'm going to give credit where it's due, and they had a lot of good talent. But if we took man for man, I think we could match up with them. I really believe that we could match up man for man with them. I think they got some great breaks, and they had some great coaching going on up there, and they was playing as a team from the leadership to the bottom, always back to the training room. These guys was all about the Steelers, and we just didn't get that part of it all together. I say this to all of my fans, and I'm going to take full responsibility for everybody want to say the Mike Renfro catch, and the referee took that game away from us. I'm saying no. I am, as a linebacker, and I am one of the leaders on that team, we still had enough time to turn that game around. But we got and let the referee get into our game. And you can't do that as a professional athlete. You got to come overcome that adversity and take your game back to the game that you came to do. We didn't come to win. We played hard up until that catch.
Assuming that Robert Brazile's the best linebacker, outside linebacker of that time, who was number two? What guy did you think that guy? I'd love to have the talent that guy's got back when you played.
At that time, we had some great linebackers. I'm thinking about when you say that, and I go back to look at the guys that's making the Pro Bowls on the AFC, the Lamberts, the Hams, Ted Hendricks, my man out there, Tom Jackson. It's a lot of good linebackers, but there was one guy that came along later on in my career. His name was Lawrence Taylor. I think Lawrence Taylor was so excited to meet me, and I was so excited to see who is this guy. And when he got into the league, he took my game and a bunch of other people's games that was already in the league and turned it into Lawrence Taylor game.
And John has talked to me about this, John McClain, and Elvin Bethea talked to me about this. Lawrence had a great deal of respect for you. What does it mean when you hear that coming from Lawrence with what he was able to accomplish?
All these years that I was considered as a Hall of Famer, he's always said that I was the Lawrence Taylor before Lawrence Taylor. No, I'm going to put it like this. In my language, I was Robert Brazile before Lawrence Taylor came into the league to be Lawrence Taylor. So I give him credit because Lawrence, he was a game changer. He's a game-changing linebacker, man.
Well, I tell you what, just can't wait to see you get inducted into Canton. And like you said, 38 days away. So just amazing. And I tell you what, for the Oilers fans, I feel like we got another chance to just get up there and root for that team and that time and that era and everything like that.
It's a great feeling. I want to tell all the fans that I know it's a lot of things going around about this and going around about that. Bud Adams made a choice to go to Tennessee, and it was his choice. That was his team. But I want to do something with my gold jacket, and I want to ask the rest of my gold jackets, is that because I believe in the people that pay me, love me, and support me, which was the fans here in Houston and the owner of the Houston Oilers, and his daughter, Amy Stark, has done such a great job in supporting me through all of these Hall of Fame enshrinements and this thing that I got to go through, and they're going to throw me a great party. And I still got to go to Nashville and get that ring. I want my gold jackets, the Houston Oilers, and some of the Love You fans to be in Tennessee that night when I get that.
I can't wait. We can't wait for that. It should be fun, and it's great to see you. Great to see you in town, and thanks so much for doing this. It's always fun catching up with you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for all the support that we're here for tonight.
With me now is the Hall of Famer, Elvin Bethea, and we're here on the night that Robert Brazile is being roasted, and it's just a few weeks away where he's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. When you heard the news that Robert got inducted in, what was your reaction?
My reaction was like the day I was inducted or told that I would finally win into the Hall of Fame, and I feel that day I cried because he's overdue. Well overdue. 29 years, And all the players that, I don't take nothing from all the players that have gone in since, before him, but he deserved to have gone in a long time before, 29 years before he was selected. But that's the game, that's life. So I hope he takes it forward and takes it, and has a good feeling. Right now he has a excellent. Every time I talk to him, he's excited, and I'm excited for him.
What advice do you have for him? You've gone through this experience Canton weekend. What advice do you have?
Oh, the advice that I have is that he's not going to remember half of what happened that week. That's what I did. And I got back home, my wife, I told her, I said, well, so-and-so wasn't here. My doctor wasn't here. She says, here, take a picture. Look at this. You were standing next to him. And not realizing, there's so much excitement. You're going out in so many different directions that you don't realize what's happening until you go back the next year. And I was told that same thing before the year I went in. So you have to come back next year to see what you went through. But he's gonna be high in the clouds when he gets there. Guarantee you.
Tell people that didn't get a chance to watch Robert Brazile play. If you're younger than 35 or something, you don't remember Robert Brazile. What was it like to watch Robert Brazile on a football field?
I tell you, he was one of the greatest linebackers, and not just me saying that. LT, Lawrence Taylor, and we talked about it at the hall, and Brazile not going in, and he said over the years, he said, hey, Brazile was LT before there was a LT, and I said, that's a hell of a statement to say there. And he went in, like I said, Lawrence was in college when Brazile was playing, and he got in well before Brazile, but everything you say about him, man, he was that. He was a big linebacker, speed, strength, had endurance, and I was proud to be standing, or not standing, down in the dirt, as we say, in the four-man position, where he would always we worked together during the games, and we'd bet each other who would get to the player but on the other side, because we'd wave, send it over here, run over this way, run to the left. But anyway, we had fun time. It was a great time, and I was so happy the day he went in. So happy.
What is it going to mean to see this probably the last Houston Oiler that gets in the Hall of Fame, the Oiler franchise no longer. Do you think about that? Is that something that you're going to be thinking about in a few weeks?
Oh, yeah. And I'd always said, and I told John McClain before he went, years ago, the year that Curley went in, and he told me, we had a meeting one day, a luncheon, and John says, it's going to take time, he'll get there, and I'm saying, well, I understand that because it took me, 16 years before I was noticed, and but I said he's the final piece of the puzzle of the Houston Oilers franchise as far as going into the Hall of Fame. I don't see anyone else at this time. Some guy asked me, what about Billy Johnson? I said, I don't think Billy's going to go because you're talking about his stats. But, I'm just proud to see him that he's finally made it. He's got his due. It took him a while, and just like in my case, it took me a while, but he's there. You can't take it from him, but he should have been there a long time ago.
People can't see this, but you're wearing a Hall of Fame jacket. Do you get to pull that out of the closet much? What do you feel like when you throw that on?
No, I don't change. I haven't changed since I went into the hall. And my mother once told me, said, "Just be yourself. You don't have to be nobody else. Just be yourself." And I always kept a straight line, just and whatever I had to go outside the line, I would. But I've always enjoyed having people come by and just saying hello or can I shake your hand, and a lot of times I will go up to them and shake their hands and say thank you. Without you, there would not have been me or the Houston Oilers. Those were real fans, and for the days, things that we went through in the early years that I was there, people still stuck behind us. And when Lovey Blue came, that was it. That was a time that everybody enjoyed the city. We had the city by the tail and didn't know it. But it was a great number of years with 75 all the way until 90. I mean, not 90, geez, 75 until 80. We were on top of the world, and but we just played ball just to challenge ourselves, I think. And Bum Phillips, without his help and guidance, I tell you, he'd always say, "You guys are the ones that are going to make it or break it. And if you go by team, player by player, and compare them to all the other teams and look at the number of players that we had that were just pieced together. They weren't high draft choices, but somehow Bum pulled us all together, and he told us always the old saying, hold on to the rope. So those were outstanding years that I'll never forget. I still have pictures of all the great times we had and those not so great times. Talking about the early 70s when I came in. But it was a good time. I'd do it all over again.
Well, like I always say, I wish more people could have witnessed the Love You Blue Oilers. The people of Houston that are around today could understand what it's all about and could understand what it was like to watch Elvin Bethea on a Sunday basis during the fall. That was always fun, and it's always good to catch up with you, Elvin. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you very much. Enjoy it.
You're listening to Houston Sports Talk.
Don't forget to follow Houston Sports Talk on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, the Google Podcast app, or the Stitcher app. You can support us by giving us a 5-star review on iTunes or by telling your friends about us. Spread the word, everybody. Thanks for listening.